Oh, it's Sunday. 3 o'clock. Pretty close. 4:38. I came out here at 3 o'clock. 73 degrees in here. 8-4. I got a cheater bar out, and I successfully squished the pipe over here. I did get the bushing out, but as you can see, it didn't come out in one piece. So what I think I'm going to do, I put that board under it so I could wrench on it without it, I also don't have the light because the extension cord's not here today. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, which I don't like doing with that PEX back there. But I think I got to cut it because I can't get the elbow off. And inside is the rest of those threads. I would love to just take this whole piece out. So I might cut it over there and try and cut the threads out there. It's not as important over here as it was when we were doing this, because this isn't pressurized. I mean, that just goes right out the roof for a vent. No Teflon. No Teflon tape to be found anywhere. Did you think you weren't ever going to be having to work on this? Because that sure seems like it. That's a WD-40 for me trying to break that loose, and that wasn't happening. The other problem is I don't want to damage any of this. I don't want to replace it. If I have to, I will. I just don't want to. And if I do, it's going to be starting at that flange, and all of this will get replaced. Which, like I said, not something I really want to deal with, because I got no idea how it's attached up there. It's probably not. Sure doesn't sound like it. I was going to bring home the big wrench from work tomorrow and try it with the big wrench, but I don't know if the big wrench will do it. Might try it anyway, got nothing to lose. But I was really hoping to have this done, and it ain't getting done. So I think I need a longer fill line anyway. And I should probably attach that to the wall. I would feel better if it were. And some of these, I don't know, that one's copper, I guess, for whatever reason. Those look a little rough. Anyway, it's fine. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Hey, how are you? Your old pal Jason. We'll look at date and time here in a minute. I feel like crap today. I don't like it. I don't need it. That's turning into a disaster. I figured it would. We have a job today that I wanted to do first thing this morning, but here's when I'm getting to it. Hi, Felix. You just make yourself at home. Walk faster. You may notice the sink is not installed yet. Well, there's a reason for that, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't turn the light on because I don't have the extension cord in here. But I'm taking this pipe out because it's not working with the setup I want. It's obviously, like everything else, fused together I put a wrench on it, I put a bar on it, and all I've managed to do is deform the pipe. So we're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it as close as I can to back here. And we're just going to have to take it out of the fitting. So, I could have swore I had one of these once. I can't find it, so I went and bought a new one. Do some handwork in there. We're going to be replacing that with ABS, and I didn't have any ABS cement or primer, so bought some of that. And I found the world's tiniest Sawzall blades. These are 4-inch blades and should do metal. So the plan is, Felix, we're going to cut the horizontal pipe, and inside that fitting, we've got some options. Normally, I would probably cut down and at an angle this way, and then try and bust everything loose. Now, I don't think that's going to work, and that's not a great idea. This is not pressurized, so it's not going to leak, but I'm going to cut up. I'm going to make my wedge this way. That way, when water does run in, any damage I may potentially do to those threads is not going to matter because it's going to be on the top of the thing. That's the plan. So now, I gotta get the light plugged back in so I can see. Gotta get the saw so I can cut. And we'll see how it goes from there. I'll be back with you in a minute. Phase 1 complete. I found my old brand new Lennox blades, and man, they're just great. I still don't think there's a better Sawzall blade out there. So now, if we could get this off, that'd be great. That'd save me a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of labor. But it don't want to move. I can't tighten it to bust it loose or loosen it to take it off. So, like I said, we're going to cut it. And I left a little more out for this job, because this just needs to fit inside there. If I cut it short, then we're going to be farther here, and we may run into problems. That's how I bend a lot of blades. So there's some crud in there. So plan is we'll cut this way, we'll cut this way, and see if we can knock enough out that I can kind of deform that and work it that way. Looking at it a little closer, it looks like they've put an adhesive or something on it. I don't know why. Like I said, this is not under pressure. This will never leak, and it will only leak up here if it plugs up down here and fills up, which it's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. This discoloration is from some penetrating oil I sprayed on there. That's why that looks kind of wet. That's it. So, get back to it. I had an epiphany, ladies and gentlemen. I've just had an apostrophe. Lightning has just struck my brain. Somewhere, and this is a situation I wouldn't mind using one of these in. God, it's such a mess out here. Somewhere I have one of these. There we go. So I get me a stick 1.25 inches, put an elbow on it. Run that over. We can attach it to the sink that way. That'd be a much better idea. It's much less fiddling around with there. It's a little shorter. I probably should have thought of it before I started doing it that way, but it's what we got. So it's what we will work with. Oops. That does not look like a 5/16 to me. But maybe it is. No, I think that's might be a 3/8. Come on. Lego. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it just looks bigger because I'm not used to seeing them in such a situation. It is. Okay, perfect. I had it. It was right there because I took it out to do something with it. There it is. I had to take the horn out of that speaker because I think it's fried. And I think I got somebody who might want to purchase it. So I ordered a new one today. Perfect. Okay, so I'll go get me 1.25 inches. That could be PVC. I would still prefer it ABS, but we'll see. How much do I want? If I can get at least 6 feet, 5 or 6 feet. 6 would be better. I would have spare. Okay. Wallet, keys, a little bit of cash. So we need a piece to come out and at least 1 elbow, if not 2. So we need to come up, over, and we'll anticipate up, over, and out. But if I can just go up and handle the over and down from the sink, I would much rather do that. But we'll get 2 elbows, 6 feet of pipe. As with most things in this project, first try, never the charm. Second try, a little better. Third, it's good. So I need to raise the sink a little bit because I don't know if you can tell by the back, but that leg and that leg are not on the ground. And the height adjustable feet don't adjust high enough to make this work. We had to do the same thing with the one we got at work. It sits, the basin is so low, you know, that it puts the drain way low. But where are we? There we are. Is that great? No. Is there water on the floor? Yes. Why is there water on the floor? Because the first hookup didn't work. But the second and third did. We'll put a level on it. You can hear it draining, so that's good. What I'm going to do is I think I've got a little bit of pressure treated lumber left somewhere. So I'll cut some feet for it. And they'll just, you know, I'll just basically cut a chunk, because it's big enough. We'll slide it under there. We'll get it level. We'll tighten the fasteners on the feet. So we got water. And last I looked, we didn't have any drips down there. This piece does look a little crooked, but that's because the sink's sitting crooked. Did I see a drip? Did I? Oh, I did. That's where it was leaking the first time. But it wasn't leaking bad. It's just a little drip. It's all right. We'll deal with all the fine tuning when we get the sink up right and level. And a little closer to the wall. Gonna get some of my all-round, as our Canadian friends call it, and I'm gonna wrap that drain pipe and let it hang off the wall just to get the pitch. That is way over pitched for that little bit, but it's fine. And I would like to get a longer feed line because I don't like how that's sitting. So we'll get a longer feed line, and I will also attach that PEX to the wall. And the way I plan on attaching the PEX to the wall, thought I had some still sitting out somewhere. Maybe I don't. Oh, I have some of these that are this shaped. And they're plastic. This, I think, would be fine. I don't like doing metal on metal or metal on plastic, but I think I've got some of those left that are plastic. So I will slip them around the PEX and screw them to the wall. And they might be in one of these. But that's the plan. But first we're going to get the sink all hooked up and running and no drips. Which, that chunk right there I cut off. I wanted to cut it off with those. You know, those cut really nice and a nice clean cut, but that's too soft. It won't cut that, it just squeezes it. And if worse comes to worse, I'll just dig it all out and replace it with some of this. This is not the whole thing, but that's enough to do the job. There's the directions, if you didn't know. And what I think we're leaking over here, that is this leg. And I think we're leaking on that leg because it's got to go back up. Well, coming down, I mean. And then it's got to go. Ideally, these should be a little... There's going to be a better picture on there. No, not really. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it ain't terrible. But I think our problem is that this is not sitting straight, and it's not sitting straight. It's doing, you know. If I get the sink up like that, that should fix it. But I'm going to do that later. I am tired. I've been feeling sick all day, and just that little bit took an awful lot out of me. I got 8 feet. I used maybe 40 inches. Got 2 elbows, only needed 1. 33 inches is the piece that's running that way. And then I cut a couple pieces that big for nipples. Because my initial plan had it going another way, and it made it too tall. So, not a big deal. Anyway, I'm going to go inside. Hey there. Timestamp. There you go. It's been a couple days. I came out to work on the sink, and the floor is wet. Why is the floor wet? I don't know. It was leaking. It was dripping off of this elbow back here, but I shut off this valve, and that's not where it's leaking. So it's leaking somewhere up here. And I think it's this. And I think it's this because it's too short. So I'm going to have to get a new one. kind of expected that anyway. But I don't know. Because this is not standard sink size. This is like toilet size. I think that's probably a 3/8. And that's probably a 1/2. And I don't know if I have one of those. So my plan was to come out today and fix that. But I don't think I can come out and fix that. 1/2 inch to 3/8. Told you. Unfortunately, the only two I have are these two. And they're the same size. So I'm going to have to get some new ones. And I need to do something about that wet floor. And since I'm out here, I thought I'd play some guitar. But now that that's doing its thing, I've kind of lost motivation. You know how it goes. I'll probably do it anyway, though. So I don't have an update for you other than the floor is wet, which means I can claim this on my insurance. If you recall, floor is wet, we'll pay you. Doesn't matter what kind of floor, doesn't matter how wet, your floor is wet. So I want this guy. It does not feel like there's a battery in there. There's not a battery in there. So I'll just set it up and let it dry, and I'll tackle it tomorrow. Taking the day off from work tomorrow. So I'm glad that's all it did, you know. Could have been worse. What are you flickering for? Okay. So just go play over there. I was going to play over here. I've got a pedal board. That one I need to work on, but I guess we'll not do that. But I probably should. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to do. I need to know how far apart these feet are. Call it 18 inches, 19. We'll go 20. I'm going to cut a board. I didn't have any pressure treated stuff, but I still got some 4x4, so I'm going to cut it 20 inches long. And I will screw the feet to that. And then I can adjust the height and the level from there. Not going to screw it to the floor because that's a terrible idea. Got to get some stuff charging out here too, I guess. Man, I've just been slacking out here. I suck. Anyway, you know what I know.